is Cashman. I have been in the real estate business for over 30 years now. I did grow up in the Newcastle County, Wilmington area. Went to school locally, went to the University of Delaware. And after I got out of the University of Delaware, I was looking for a way to own my own business, run my own business, and real estate was a great option for that. Not a lot of investment to get in, and it's a great industry because you're going to get paid exactly what you're worth. If you put a lot of work and effort into it, then you can get a lot of reward out of it. I've been licensed for over 30 years, so I've been a full-time agent since 1988. I've also been a manager with my company for the last almost 25 years. Well, the market has certainly changed a lot. The business has changed a lot. Having been in it over 30 years, I've seen all kinds of markets, buyers markets, sellers markets, the Great Real Estate Depression in 2008 to 2012. So the technology has changed a lot, the way that we do business. We don't have to be in the office anymore with the technology we have. We're interacting with our clients a lot of different ways now compared to the way we used to. And the consumers have a lot more information available to them. So that has changed the way that we do business. I think there's a lot of things that makes Wilmington unique. First of all, the state of Delaware, we have very low property taxes and no sales tax. So it's very attractive to a lot of people as a lower cost place to live. Also, our real estate prices are low compared to many of the other metropolitan areas on the East Coast, like Philadelphia, New York, New Jersey, Washington, D.C. So we have a very affordable, for the most part, affordable housing market compared to other areas. There's also a lot of activities here in the Wilmington area, a lot of cultural things that attract people to come to Wilmington. Over the last 12 to 24 months, one of the biggest things we've seen is the increase in pricing, increase in value. So just the last 12 months, year to date, the median price is up over 12% in the greater Wilmington area. Inventory is still very low. It's not as low as it was a few months ago, but it's still very much a seller's market. So if you have a house you want to sell, now is a great time to put it on the market. If you're a buyer, it's not so great. It takes a little bit more effort to try to find a house. So if you have a house to sell and you have someplace else to go, or you don't have to be somewhere, then it's a great time to put your house on the market. Well, most of my listing side of my business is in historic homes. So I sell a lot of homes in the old Newcastle area, which is a colonial town 6 miles south of Wilmington, right on the Delaware River. And it's mostly older homes, and I also sell older homes throughout the county and the Wilmington area. People know that I specialize in that, so I get calls from people who have older homes to sell. Older homes are very specialized. If you don't understand the construction, the materials that were used, kind of the old house nuances that a lot of people might call them defects today, but it's just part of owning an older home. You have to be willing to kind of be a little bit lenient when it comes to the condition of an older home. You have to like the character and want to live in that type of a house compared to new construction where you want everything to be perfect. So that's the biggest difference. Sure, so my first tip for a first-time buyer would be, number one, get an agent. Get a good agent who's going to work in your best interest, and then listen to that agent. They're going to help you craft an offer that's going to be attractive to a seller. So my second bit of advice is, when you do make an offer, make your highest and best offer first. Because most likely in this market, you're going to have multiple offers if it's a good house, and you're not going to get a second chance. And the third piece of advice is, if you have the financial capability and you're willing to do it, would be to put some kind of appraisal gap language in the contract, meaning that if the house doesn't appraise, you're willing to pay so much money above the appraised value and still go to settlement. That's something that's very attractive to sellers in this market where we have rising prices, and the appraisers don't always keep up with those rising prices. Well, I think in general, the Delaware market, the Wilmington, Newcastle County market, I think is very strong, very favorable outlook. We still have very high demand. Our prices are still very low compared to many of our surrounding areas. The low taxes are going to continue to draw kind of retirement age people to Delaware. We work with lots of buyers who are selling in New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Massachusetts, moving a little bit further south, but looking for the low tax environment that they can get in Delaware. So I think it's very favorable moving forward. Well, I think there's a couple of neighborhoods that people could check out. One would be Trolley Square here in Wilmington. It's more of a vibrant neighborhood. It has lots of restaurants, shops, bars, etc. So there's a lot to do in that area. Also the old Newcastle area, right on the Delaware River. There's lots of walking trails along the river. The city of Newark, where the University of Delaware is, there's always a lot of activities going on in that area. So I think any of those areas would be interesting for people to check out. So there's a lot of good restaurants in the Wilmington, Newcastle County area. So there's a brand new one that opened a few months ago called Snuff Mill Restaurant, Butchery, and Wine Bar. That has a local chef who's been in a couple different places, Robert Loulier, who has opened it up, and it's got great reviews. And then downtown, there's La Fia, which is a French bistro. There's Bardea, which is an Italian kind of small plates. On the riverfront, the Christina riverfront, there's Banks Seafood. So there's lots of different restaurants around in Old Newcastle. We have Jessup's Tavern, which is a kind of authentic colonial tavern that people can visit there also. So there's a number of things in Wilmington that happen every year. One would be the point-to-point steeplechase races in May that are held on the grounds of the Winterthur Museum and Gardens, which is an old DuPont estate. There's also the Brandywine Festival of the Arts, which happens along the Brandywine River in September every year. We also, a little bit further south in Dover, we do have NASCAR racing twice a year. So if you're into racing, then we have that event. But there's always events going on throughout the year. There's the Clifford Brown Jazz Festival in Wilmington. So there's always events happening throughout the year that are attractive to people that want to come to Delaware. So one of the things that people like to do on the Brandywine River, we have canoeing and tubing. So lots of people do that in the summertime. We have lots of biking trails. There's actually the Jack Markell Trail, which links the Christina riverfront to Old Newcastle 6 miles south. So you can ride your bike, run, walk from Wilmington or Old Newcastle either way. So a lot of people do that. Also, the Delaware State National Park, part of that is in what we call the Beaver Valley area along the Brandywine River. So there are lots of biking trails and biking trails and things like that. Also, further towards Newark is the White Clay Creek Park, which has lots of mountain biking trails, things like that. So there's lots of outdoor activities that people can do in the Wilmington area. Well, there's a number of things that I would tell people to move to Delaware. And one is our affordable real estate. Two is our very favorable tax environment. Three would be all the activities we have locally, but four, which is a big one, is our proximity to everything. So you can be in Philadelphia in 30 minutes, you can be in New York City in 2 hours, you can be in Washington, D.C. in 2 hours. It's an hour and a half to the Delaware beaches, an hour and a half to the Jersey Shore, hour and a half to the Pocono Mountains for skiing, snowboarding, summertime activities. So we're just so close to everything, but still very affordable. I think that's what makes us very attractive to people. So you can find me, I'm a real estate broker with Patterson Schwartz Real Estate. My number is 302-545-2233. My website is chriscashman.com. So if I can help you out in any way in Delaware, feel free to contact me.